Bye. I'm down. I can't see. Music go.
Welcome everyone to the social van. Feeling Kyle sick of the bullshit. So here they are, reppin' C+, ready to turn every podcast to dust. So sit down and shut the fuck up, cause when in doubt, fuck your couch. Welcome everybody to the social vent. Yeah! What up, y'all? K&B, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for the Social Event Podcast. We got some special guests in the building today. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
It's your boy Xtra Overdoze in the building. Farmhouse representing River Rouge. Yo.
What up, guys? I am so happy and stoked that we finally got to do this.
Absolutely. So are we, man. So are we. It's been a long time, man, but we finally made it happen.
It has been a long time, huh?
Yeah, yo, for real. It's the time zones, man. That mountain time is crazy, bro.
Fucking time zones.
Do it, dog.
But let's just get right into it, man. This new album, it is on rotation on my playlist over and over, and I just can't. Like, how long has this project been in the process of making?
Depends on how you look at it, I guess. We did a chunk of it like in a 2-month span, basically, but we did new versions of it. We got a lot of songs that we chose to not make the project because we were trying to make it as good as possible. So I guess technically a year and a half in the making, just because we decided to take shit out and redo stuff and put a lot of extra effort into it. But we did the gist of it pretty quickly.
All right. Well, what brought on the theme of the album? Like, I know when you're creating an album, you have to make a theme and everything like that. Like, where did the name come from, and where did the theme of it? Because it does feel very theatrical.
That's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to like the Exodemic is really making a statement, but we was in the studio with an artist at one point, and while we were recording for the project, and they came up with the idea for like the epidemic. And mind you, this is before this whole crazy fiasco.
This is before it, but we had an idea that we wanted it to look like on the cover, like a plague was happening, like a movie cover. Yeah. That was the first thing we thought of. So when somebody shot us that idea, he immediately looked at us and was like, how about the Exodemic? And that was it.
Yeah, that was definitely.
We bounced some ideas and came up with the final one pretty quickly when the minds were stirring up.
So with this project, like, how do you feel, like, down to the writing process, down to the making of the beats? Like, how does that process go with you two?
Organically.
Yeah.
We do a lot of it right on the spot together. Sometimes I might make a beat and be like, yo, you hear this joint? I start playing it for him. And usually it's not close to being done. It'll be 2 4-bar loop. We start talking about the ideas on what style of track it's going to be. He's going to start pitching me ideas for hooks, all that shit. And then we just sit down and finish it. I'll start putting it together. He'll start writing on a spot. He'll start showing me what he's writing. I'll start hearing pull-outs here and there. Yeah. We put it together. Half the beats were made. I was literally starting to make a beat, and he started writing as I was making the beat. That's half or more of the album. And the other half is, like I said, it'd be a skeleton. And I'd present it to him, and he'd have a good idea where he's going to take it, and we just start going right there.
The biggest thing about it, like you said, we was together. You got a lot of times where people may not be in the same place physically, and I think that not to discredit that or anything like that, because I've done it as well, but to be in the same space and bouncing those ideas and those creative concepts back and forth in the same spot is just building up it builds up the momentum, and it builds up like just the energy to creatively put a project together like we have. So yeah, you know what I mean? That was, and I'm forever appreciative of that. You know what I mean? For sure. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and like for me, a writing process is I always write the hook first, and then I build the song from there. That's just the way I've always like made a song. I don't make music as much as I used to, just because we got ninjas like you that make far superior music that I'm like, I ain't gonna get in the game for nothing, because these guys are killing it.
You know, a lot of people say that. I didn't really give him the opportunity on that because when I typically present a piece of the beat, it's usually the verse. I don't know why. That's a me thing, I think, because I don't usually present it like, yo, here's the hook.
Right.
Like usually I'll start building it, but we get it there pretty quickly. But I think we typically start with the verse for the most part.
The most part, yeah. I'll think of something for a hook that'd be like, that go dope with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, just to layer it out the best way, you know, that the audience, not only just the audience, but us as artists, you know, putting together something, but that the listeners and the audience can take from and just remember, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. So,
I mean, half the album's like realistically bragging, you know what I mean? It's hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so if on some of them songs, if he got started and he's going off and, you know, he's feeling it and he's fucking ripping a track apart, that's where the hooks can end up going too. Because it might not have started theme based right off rip. It's some hot spit shit, you know? So that's, yeah, you kind of tell the difference on those tracks though. You could probably figure them out if you actually listen to that project, how that worked. Because there's certain ones where like he would go all out with those hooks and the song would be based off the hook. We just didn't have a lot of that.
With influences, especially for beat making, especially for rapping, what was your influences for both of you coming up in hip hop, and like what like drove you to do what you do now?
as far as like other musicians,
Yeah, like what was that one thing you heard? You're like, I want to do that, you know, for the rest of my life. That's my hustle. That's my grind. That's my Death Star that I'm gonna blow up.
I didn't have one person that made me feel that way. I had a lot of people that made me feel that way. I was sucked into. I started listening to hip hop when I was 7, like strong. Started listening to it. My brother was 13, so I had him making me tapes, and like I got to hear Esham when he first came out. I got to hear Ghetto Boys when they first came out. For me, those were the two things that I first fell in love with, like absolutely fell in love with, and knew like. It's like hard to explain. Like I was 5 years old when I first heard hip hop, but it was like 7 years old for me when I literally got to that point where I was like, I want to just listen to hip hop. And for me, those were the first two things that did that for me. They weren't the first two people I heard, but they're the first two groups of people I fell in love with listening to. Where I'd listen to every track, know every word. 1990. That's a long time ago.
1990, you said?
Yeah, 1990.
Yeah, man.
My brother had that first Words from Hell, that Esham, that word before it was Boom Words from Hell. Words from Hell, 1990. Yeah. We had that other cover where you sitting next to the 5.0. And that was like Ghetto Boys tape that had Assassins. That was it for me. Those were the first two things that I got completely bought into. But I knew then. I said when I was a kid, I thought I was gonna grow up and just make beats, but it took me a little bit to get there on the beats. I was MCing first.
Yeah, man. Music in general for me, like just as far as artists, I always dug like Eminem's music, Tupac Shakur, DMX, Nas. You know, I grew up on like type of things like that. My father used to, you know, cut my hair for me. He used to be playing, you know, not likes of Nas, DMX, and things, Big Pun. But pretty much music and theatrics is what kind of motivated me and inspired me to like go about making music the way that I do, you know, face paint, imagery, you know, little different things like that, you know. But yeah, music in general. Can't forget Marilyn Manson too as well. Like I really dug the way he, you know, as far as entertainment, being able to, what was we saying in the last interview, like not being as talented vocally, but still be able to
create fucking remix songs better than amazing like, singers.
It's not what you do, it's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? The way he does it is genius, you know. So I thought that was you know, when I looked at things like that and I was like, you know, if I could use these types of things in my way, then I know I could succeed, you know, in this, you know, genre of music. Entertainment period, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, and plus too, like, and this is another question that I had for you guys. Thinking as I was putting this all together, there's so many talents out there that I imagine you working with, and just imagining in my brain and putting it together. Like I would love to see like you and Ouija Mac like on the same track, because I know you guys would just murder it. But is there any collaborations that you guys are just want to get or working towards to get?
I'm always down to work with other individuals that's serious and like. But if I did have to say someone, let's say in that genre of music, since you brought up Ouija Mac, Light. I fuck with young Light.
Hell
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I've been me and him. We've talked about it several times, and we've crossed paths. I did the Lights Out show. I did another show where I co-headlined with Big Hoodoo in Holly, Michigan, I believe it was. So it's like me and him got a good relationship. It's just we haven't got to the point where we on the track together. But that's one individual that I would definitely want to work with, musically. And yeah, so salute to him. Off the top of my head, yeah, somebody in this genre of music, wicked underground music.
For me, I just want to do a Corrupt album. Like I want to fully produce a Corrupt album, because I feel like him being able to do the East Coast and West Coast thing his whole career, I feel like nobody ever blended those two correctly. Like I have my own vision for what I think would be it, and I think that I would make the shit that he would want to do that. And I'm not looking for like the biggest names. I'm just naming something I've always wanted to do. That's something I've always wanted to do. Corrupt record.
Yeah,
Especially in 2021.
Yeah, and with everything, I feel like there's endless possibilities, because now we're seeing things like verses and people, MCs that I looked up to now battling each other on stages and stuff like that. Like, what would you say is your deepest influence of like the hip hop culture, like the West Coast style, East Coast style? Because there's all different types of sounds out there. Like, because you are very unique. Like the sound you guys bring is very unique and different. Like, and it is pure hip hop at its finest, and that's what I love about it. Like, what was like, how did the sound of like this is what we're creating in the oven?
I think we're actually similarly influenced in those manners. Actually, like coming up, like I came up as a battle rapper and a freestyler. Like a lot of people thought I was crazy when I was getting into production, when I was first getting into it, because I couldn't even work a computer. For me, like coming up in that Eminem era and the D12 era, like I got a lot of influence from that. If you listen to the shit I say when I'm rapping, you know it. Chino XLs, Razzcasses, all that type of shit. For me, the early 2000s of hip hop was hugely influenced in what I do now. Extremely influenced.
Yeah, that's right. It's like just all the different elements, man. Like I'm a student of hip hop forever, student of music forever. Just being able, like, just to be able to create something. Like I look at this as like this is our own world. We can create the things that we want to create. We can say what we want to say. We can paint the picture the way we want to paint the picture. And I think that that's one of the most beautiful things about hip hop. Like you have so many different genres of hip hop, because at first I didn't know about like horrorcore or like acid rap until like the Juggalo community started to gravitate towards my music. And
hint, he was already doing it on his own,
right? I
without
didn't know.
their influence.
You know what I'm saying? I was doing the Gramo ciphers, and which salute to them, which that opened a lot of doors for me. But yeah, man, just being able to create music and create this world. Every individual, you got Foulmouth. He's in his own world. He creates a beat. He's in that. You know what I'm saying? He can create the beat the way that he wants to create the beat. There is no specific
genre.
Like, yeah, it's multiple. And as you can tell on the album, like there's not.
We do abide by one sound.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can do what the ceiling goes as far as you want it to go. And we can create these things. And that's why the way I go about music is the way I go about music. Because I could do and say what the fuck I want to say with my music. And I can do what I want with it, being independent as well, and having, the artistic control and coming together with someone else who is on the same page as me, creating a product like the Exodemic. It's going to come out and it's going to be, as it is, it's a great project. It's, great project. But yeah, as far as inspiration from hip hop, I can see that.
Yeah, and that's why I like what you said about the Juggalo community, it itself, because people don't understand. Like, this is what drives me crazy with I just love music. I love hip hop. I love underground. I just love it all. And when people try to clump it together, like, oh, well, this is just a Juggalo based rapper, this, and I'm like, no. And
that's a limitation. You don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want that, man.
yeah.
Definitely not.
We want the respect from as many people. I want to give it to us, but that's the last thing either one of us want. That was one of the more appealing things is when I figured out he was here and he was from New York. I knew his shit was a little bit different. When I do horrorcore personally, it's gonna be my version of it. You know what I mean? I really don't want to sound like what anybody else does or follow a bandwagon. The fact that he was here, I looked him up and I seen he was new to this scene. I couldn't wait to work. You know what I mean? Because I really don't want to work with somebody who's already done 100 things that everybody knows about that has a certain sound. Like, if we're going to work, it's going to be something different. I'm going to be different than I was the last album. Same way I expect you to be. You know what I mean? And I think I personally think it's a good thing. You need to stay on your toes, being creative and hearing soundscapes differently and changing with the times. You don't have to abide by what other people do or follow their trends, but being able to keep yourself out of a box and continue to sound new and have a fresh sound. It's important. Exactly. Evolving.
Evolve with the music. Music is timeless, man, but to evolve with it is some people get stuck in a space,
And that's every genre of hip hop.
You know what I'm saying? Like, get stuck in a space, but it's how you do it and how you go about it.
Yeah, because the reason I bring that up is just because it's like what happened with Tech. Everyone was going at Tech 9 about being like, oh, well, he's a Juggalo rapper, and then it was like, no, Tech's been around for a long time.
Juggalo fans,
right.
Yeah. And so like it was just one of those things where he got clumped in. He's like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. But then when he said that, everyone's like, whoa, it's like, calm down. This is music. This is somebody's career.
Yeah.
This is somebody that's trying to make a niche in the game, for themselves. And so that's why I think with you, like you scream Xtra Overdose, like you scream that. Where did the name come from?
The name came from, it was just like me growing up around, a whole bunch of a drug infested community. My mom's was on, substances. My father was selling substances. I knew people that had overdosed from, drugs. I knew people that were selling drugs, and the whole war on the drug war in America. I thought to myself, like, if I could take this and turn it into like a positive way of looking at Xtra Overdose. The extra is going the extra mile, the extra distance to achieve what you want to achieve. Just like when a person overdoses on a drug, I'm taking the extra overdose into what it is that I want to obtain or succeed at. So like if a person wants to be a podcast, have a podcast, or a person wants to be a doctor or whatever it is, just go the extra mile, the extra distance, and just overdose on that shit and succeed at it. You know what I mean? Achieve it. So that's basically that part of where it came from. But before that, I used to be called XO because I sold a lot of exotic weed, and in certain parts of America, they call it XO. So that's how I originally got the name. But then I was like, you know what? I want to do music, and I'm going to take this shit serious. So how can I brand this in a way that would be not glorifying doing drugs? Because a lot of people think that off the bat. You know what I'm saying? Xtra Overdose. So to answer your question, that's where it came from. That's the whole, thought process that I was thinking about when I came up with Xtra Overdose.
Well, it's like I felt like it was a battle rap name. That was just me, just because the name Xtra Overdose. I'm like, coming up next to the stage, the battle rap Xtra Overdose. I'm like, oh, this dude's gonna get murdered, gonna overdose this dude. How about Foul Mouth? Where did Foul Mouth come from?
Bro, I can't tell you that story. There's no way I can say that right now. It's absolutely insane how I got my rap name, and it's a great story, man. But it's super fucking overboard. If I got to break down the shit that my friends were doing and what happened for me to get this name. So I don't want to throw anybody under the bus what they were doing that day.
For sure.
Just know that there's a super crazy story in the end where a girl went storming out the door and said some shit to me, and she said, "You got a real fucking foul mouth." And after she left, because of the things that were being said, my boy looked at me and said, "That's it, bro. Foul mouth."
I like that a lot. Real quick, just because I want to have some fun here. When you were ready to get set up to interview, I saw a lot of horror movie stuff in your room. What is horror just your favorite? Because I just love movies. I'm a big movie nut.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about when you was first starting the movie reviews.
Yeah.
Right? But I love horror.
You need to get us in on that, man.
Yeah, we talked about it, man. We was like,
we're both horror movie buffs, man. We love the horror movies.
Yeah, I love all movies, man. I love all movies. I'm a movie buff, period. But
we watch the shitty ones.
Horror movies.
All of them.
Those are my shits, man. It's never a time I don't want to watch a horror movie. And I look up, Michael Myers. You've seen I got Big Mike in there.
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees. I gotta get a whole bunch of other collections, but horror films would be my go-to genre for movies. But I love them all. But horror is my shit. So I love horror.
I remember when we were talking about it. Did you watch Malignant?
No, I haven't watched it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for date night.
Malignant.
I got date night for that film. So
you got to get through those first 5 minutes though, because it's a bad Lifetime movie for the first 5 minutes. And the actors are bad Lifetime actors.
Yeah.
It took me a minute, but you got to watch it.
Yeah, because in my review, I remember I said go a full hour. That first hour is just so come on, let's get to it. Then when the twist happens, you're like, fuck.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into it.
Bro, listen, they got some dude to do musically, the vocals aren't all there, but the music they redid Pixies, Where's My Mind? And they find every wrong moment in the movie to make it hype up to the music. And that's why the best part of the movie. She tells that story. About you know what I don't want to give it up. I don't want to give it away from her, but she tells a story to her sister, and it's not the right moment for that music. And boom, they just nail you with it. And the only thing I can think of is, why did they use this moment for this music? It's not it. It does not. It doesn't match the story she's telling. It wasn't that big of a deal. You thought she just told you the most insane shit ever. But she didn't. She didn't say it wasn't that big of a deal. And then boom, they hit you with the most dramatic music ever. And it took me the second time the music kicked in is when I realized, I was like, oh, that's Where's My Mind? That's a remix. Because they're basing it all off the fucking the humming behind it. But they don't really give it away. It's that music until you actually hear the lyrics. And I was like, oh, it's Where's My Mind? And they knew that was a big deal. They said this music might be better than these moments. Let's just fucking give it to them right now. 7, 8, 9 times.
Yes.
Bro, they literally never dropped that part. You would have thought that somebody discovered who killed their parents, right? Yeah. And then boom, that dramatic moment hits in, and it's not that, man. The acting didn't give you that. But I was so glad they did it wrongfully 7 more times after. It made it good that they just wrongfully used it the whole movie.
Yeah, and that's a good. That movie definitely feels good. Cheese 80s, horror type movies. What would you? Okay, I know it's the cliche thing. What is your favorite go-to horror movie? That one movie on the shelf that you can just pop in and have a good time.
Lost Boys considered a horror movie? It's my all-time favorite movie, so I'll just throw it in there. It was my all-time favorite movie when it wasn't cool for it to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Movie period, yeah. And just a vampire film, that's the greatest vampire film ever made. Now they remaking it. I don't know about that.
So we're talking strictly horror movies. Go-to horror movie. Fuck. What did I not get over enough to where I pop it back on? I go, yep, I still fucking love it. The Gate. I don't know what it is about that movie. I love that fucking movie. The Gate. I love it. I absolutely love that movie. Just because when I was a kid, it scared the fuck out of me for whatever reason. And I remember being 4 years old and watching that movie. Actually, you know what? Return of the Living Dead is one of the movies I'll still pop it on regularly at nighttime and just try to go to sleep to it. I can only go to sleep to shit I like, which makes no sense because you think it's bullshit in the background. It's got to be something I actually am interested in. Those are go-tos for me. I'm never going to get over those movies. they still have replay value. I'll still put them on and rewatch them like I never watched it. I know The Gate 2 inside and out.
That's dope.
Yeah, I love that shit. I wish they'd find a way to redo that movie. Even though I would hate the remake, I still just want to watch a remake of The Gate. Yeah, fucking, you can have to get a young Steven Dorff replacement. They probably won't be able to replace Terry because you're not going to find a lot of kids that look like him. It's going to be tough to redo that movie, but I would love to see a remake of that movie. That's at the top of the list. The original Return of the Living Dead, if they actually tried to redo like the cemetery scene and like to actually remake the movie, not just do a 2021 version of it, abide by the way that movie was and remake it for what 2021 is. I think that would be dope.
For me, it would be like you already seen. Halloween. Halloween is my favorite of all time. Other than that, Scream.
They're shooting. No, it's fireworks, bro.
Oh yeah, but Halloween, man, that's my go-to. I love Scream too as well. I mean, I Scream too, but the Scream franchise, Halloween franchise, the Scream franchise, those are my tops. You know what I'm saying? As far as
Well, speaking of Halloween and remakes, what did you think of the newest Halloween? Because I honestly didn't like it.
You didn't like it? I thought it was
the one from the end of 2018.
Yeah. The one when
I liked it. I didn't love it. I mean, they did a great job of explaining the story. That part like is on point as fuck. I think what ruined it was that second Rob Zombie movie, man.
Oh god,
how bad that shit was.
I like the first one he remade.
Yeah, he killed
it. I enjoyed it. It's just because he was going through that the deal with Dimension and the Harvey Weinstein brothers. So the second one he just did it like he does his previous films, like Devil's Rejects and everything like that, because he really didn't want to do the second one. He was supposed to.
He's smart about it. He knew it.
T-Rex film, T-Rex cartoon film, but they was like, nah, we got a good bag for the remake, so we want to. You know how Hollywood is. They want to.
They should have let it be. I went to the early preview, and as soon as his wife showed up next to him as as the mom.
Oh yeah.
And she was talking to him as a ghost. Some dude stood up in the premiere and said, "This fucking sucks!" And everybody booed it to the point that you couldn't even hear it. I couldn't fucking believe it. I'm talking the movie ended for anybody who was in the theater with us at that very point.
It was awesome, but
it was a bad movie.
He went so left. He went left, man. Right. He went left on that.
He lost the whole crowd at that moment, and it took one guy to stand up and go, "This fucking sucks!" And everybody melted and went with everybody became part of that man's team, and they just started booing and screaming. It was crazy. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a theater. Every single person in a packed theater is going crazy. It went from a regular movie to that in 1 fucking second.
I was that guy during Wolverine Origins when they brought back Deadpool at the end, but it wasn't Deadpool, and they had his mouth like sealed or whatnot. I got up, I threw my nachos, and I was like, "Fuck this movie!"
Did they get behind you for it?
No, I was the only one in the theater, so I
watched a man create a cult.
Yeah,
against that fucking second movie.
Yeah, I'm not that cool.
They all left together and they went and fucking and did they went and did witch stuff around a fucking circle of fire and sacrificed 3 bunnies afterwards. This man had a whole roster. The whole theater was with this man. Literally, I think there was like 20 minutes left. It got booed, and then eventually they turned it off because they thought that there was going to be a riot or something. It was that bad. Southgate Cinema. Was it 2009? Yeah, 09 summer.
The first one came out.
I've never seen anything like that in a theater before.
All right. Well, catching up on time here. What is next? What's the future holding for you two? Like, what's the I know we have more projects coming. We have tours. Like, tell us the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We always going to be, dropping projects, man. That's a given. Me and Fal have a project that's probably like 70, 75% already done. We just probably got to add a few, probably what six more.
Yeah, 6, 7 tops.
Yeah, just to give
it the gist.
Yeah,
Get it all the way finished.
And we've been working on that. When the whole world got shut down, you know what I mean? And we came up with some great stuff, man. Some real great stuff that I know the people are going to be bugging out over.
Just need to finish the second half of it, and
yeah, man, we got that going. I'm supposed to be going on tour with Kung Fu Vampire in November, but they're still, gathering all the venues, toward the dates and everything like that. So once that's available to me and I'm able to publicly post it, I will, update it on my pages, my social media platforms, and everything like that. I'm headlining a show in Louisville, Kentucky, October 1st, which is next week. So that's gonna be pretty dope. Yeah, man, we always working, man. We always got shit, brewing. Well, we big on shock value. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we really didn't talk about the Exodemic until the product was fully done and we was ready to go. But yeah, man, as far as me, yeah, we you know what I'm saying, as far as whatever me and him got going on, but he's definitely got multiple other projects going on, and we go for it.
I got like 5 or 6 other albums. I don't even want to start naming everything because so much shit's in the mix. Just know the 2022 is going to be a big year.
Oh, yeah.
My next shit will be in about 7-8 weeks. It's going to be Kane Cole and Foulmouth. In the next couple of days, we're going to decide if we're dropping a double disc or not. We're trying to do something a little bit different, but it might be impossible to pull off in a 6-7 week period. But that's what we're aiming for. Is we got 2 albums that are finished, so we're thinking about just doing something different in 2021 and dropping a double. I haven't seen that happen in a minute. I don't think. Yeah. At least I don't think. But yeah, that's my very next project that's coming out, and that's the one I'm focused on right now. I got a lot of shit going on, a lot of different cats. 2022 should definitely be a good year. Hopefully, other people see it that way too.
Undeniable, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, workaholics, man.
Hell yeah. That's what you got to do in this game. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep moving forward. Right now is a part of the show where I open the floor to you. Plug whatever you want to. We'll have all the links in the description below for you guys underneath this podcast. So the floor is yours. Plug away.
Yeah, man. Facebook, first and foremost, you can catch me at Xtra Overdose. Instagram, Xtra Overdose. Twitter, Kids Don't Do Drugs. Just eliminate the S's and put Z's. I'm on TikTok as Xtra Overdose as well. Gmail, xtraoverdose@gmail.com. What else? YouTube, Xtra Overdose. I think that's about it, right? Yeah. Bandcamp, which is
go to Bandcamp and get the album.
Xtra Overdose, the physical.
The Exodemic.
Pick up the physical. You can pick up the physical, Spotify, Apple Music.
Just buy them both, man. Get you a solid physical. Order it online. All that.
Dope. I'm so glad we got to do this. I'm so glad we got to talk, and especially talk about the album, talk movies. I got to have you guys on again in the future. We can.
Absolutely.
Most
of this one of the movie reviews too, man.
Oh yeah, I'm still.
Down for it.
And the music video, we have a music video that's going to play at the end of this for everybody, so don't go away after we're done. Xtra Overdose, we're going to give you some music for your eye holes and ear holes, and you're going to love it. It's going to just be lubricated with freshness inside your ear holes, and the pleasure's there. And Xtra Overdose will extra overdose in your ears and your eyeballs.
It's only right.
We have a saying around here, and at C Plus Studios, and I would like you to join me right when I say "when in doubt." All together, we will say "fuck yo couch." You ready?
Got you.
All right, y'all. Well, like and subscribe. Share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa. Share it with the bum down at Walmart. And when in doubt,
fuck yo
couch.
who the underground lives. Whipping, flipping, I'm winning, no kidding. Being shit, no competition. This Envysion, I'm sipping life, I'm in this, I'm done living. You should visit. Wickedy wicked, such a menace, unforgiving. Fuck your feelings on a million being tree and catch him killing. Cynical, lyrical, talking, literal, unforgettable. My medical, terrible, telling you how it is. Guess who's back again. She tell her friend to tell her friend. XO back, some show love, some pretend. Ballistic coding, ignorant, whole approach, terrific, exodemic. Tell a friend, the world is mine. All the sickest shit around is fuck world combined. Word on a dead, no replay, no repeat. Like you brought the CD or you stream. Land of riches, thieves and bitches with some bad intentions. Now your children missing, rentals in prison. I'm hoping you get it. If not, then go choose a religion. Give truth that's forbidden. I'm shooting my shot, giving all that I got. Be the reason I might give a fuck if you not. This is that shit that bang. Open your mind and go insane. It's that bada boom, bada bang. Give me some space, give me plenty room. Hey, ring the alarm for the boom, boom, pow, boom, boom, pow. Your bitches pussy wet, see it and they smile, asking why, and they all go. Guess who's back? 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 Yeah, I'm back up in this bitch. Cut some throats, slit some wrists. Let's disciple while we bit, while we live like this is it. Second when I'm ripping, no comparison. They still comparing man in the mirror, man in the ever bringing the terror. Blood on my leather, guts on the ceiling, coats in the kitchen. Laugh if you listen, it don't disappear. Me funny magician, truly committed when they get it too much gibberish. Not enough lyricists and not enough content, not enough originality. Copies, copy. Look, your wife, give me sloppy toppy. Switch the topic, XO stop it. What's the logic? I just pop shit, back it up, bite down, Dracula, spectacular. Only beginning, make my decision. Pause, I'm beating monster lyrics, no conscious in me. Obviously, do you like human centipede? Foul, I'm monster with the beat, then I unleash the beast. The beast unleashed from the east. Don't need a degree, hit a feast, capiche to say the least. Guess who's back again? She tell her friend to tell her friend. XO back, some show love, some pretend. What it ain't, some real, some fake. I ain't finished, no breaks, no way. To all the haters that hate me doing it, okay. You see, I don't play, cause this life we live ain't no damn arcade. These niggas still throwing shade, cause I'm an animal, don't know how to behave. Eat my remains, bitch, fuck the grave. From this point on, I'm on another page. From this point on, y'all go, wish I played along. Wish I was with the team, cause my team's strong. Dream team and give the game no meaning. Palm my back, this is XO season. This is that shit that bang. Open your mind and go insane. It's that bada boom, bada bang. Give me some space, give me plenty room. Hey, ring the alarm for the boom, boom, pow, boom, boom, pow. Your bitches pussy wet, see it and they smile, asking why, and they all go. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?